Jennifer Welch has got to be one of the most vile individuals the left has ever produced. And of course, she's gained massive popularity among the Democrats by being as disgusting and mean as she possibly can towards the opposition. And this, of course, includes Erika Kirk, who recently gave an interview over on CBS discussing the killing of her husband, Charlie. And believe it or not, you're going to hear Jennifer Welch actually coming out and saying that, yes, Charlie Kirk actually justified his own killing. So let's go ahead and jump into these clips.
And then she was with Barry Weiss recently of CBS News. And here's a segment of the interview.
One of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful, that he somehow had it coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being. You think he deserved that? Tell that to my 3-year-old daughter. Excuse me. You want to watch in high res the video of my husband being murdered and laugh and say he deserves it? There's something very sick in your soul, and I pray that God saves you. I pray, because that is what is so wrong. The internet in this world has dehumanized us.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, Barry Weiss, the premise of her question is that people that I guess justified his death.
I don't know anyone who justified his death.
The person that I heard that justified his death was him. He's the one that said on tape that if school kids die, but it means he gets to have a Second Amendment, then that's what it's going to be. He's the one that justified it. And I believe at the time of shooting, he was talking about gun violence at the time. That's wild to me, number one. And then for her, I want to get your opinion on this as a Black man, for her to say that people are dehumanizing Charlie Kirk. I remember him dehumanizing a Black pilot. He wouldn't want to fly on a plane if a pilot was Black, which is, a turning point. Everywhere he went, it was the dehumanization of Black people. So I want to get your take on both of those things.
Well, I just got off of a plane, and never did I once even think about what color the pilot is, and I don't care what color they are. I don't care what ethnicity. I don't care what gender they are, as long as they have the skills to fly the plane. So I don't look at it that way. And I think it's ridiculous. He also said that Black women didn't have enough brain processing power. I don't know if you remember that. So a couple of things. Number one, as I was saying, I don't know anyone that justified Charlie Kirk's death, that said, oh, yeah, I'm so glad that he died and he deserved to die. I don't know anyone who said that. Now, the internet can be cruel. I will agree with her on that. And you know that. Folks in the comments can be cruel. However, I believe the crux of her question, or the framing of her question, was wrong, because no one did. And those are separate things. There's nuance there. To say that he got shot doing something or in a manner that he had justified before, I think that's a fair way of framing it. But I don't know anyone. Everyone I know prefaces it the same way that you do. He should still be alive. The man should not be dead. However, it is true that he promoted guns. He did not want sensible gun legislation. And he said that you have to have a certain number of casualties, so to speak, in order to have a Second Amendment. He did say that, and he happened to die that way. That's fact.
So these two individuals clearly must be stuck in their own media bubble, because they're saying they don't know anyone who is out there celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Okay, anyone who is justifying Charlie Kirk's death. Well, here I found some reporting from the Washington Post of the time all the way back in September.
Some American workers have had their jobs placed on the chopping block after publicly mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk in Utah on September 10th. Immediately after the shooting, graphic video footage of Kirk's death spread online, along with cruel jokes about the right-wing influencer.
White cups that I got that drink, could be purple or could be pink.
He had it coming, he only had himself to blame.
I mean, I'm not saying I wish death upon someone, but that's what I'm f***ing saying for this motherfucker.
So, of course, Jennifer Welch and Don Lemon are going to get away with these comments because they're referring to, oh, did they know anyone personally that celebrated Charlie Kirk's death? All right. Oh, no, we didn't. Yeah, but they ignored the thousands of people who actually did literally celebrate and justify Charlie Kirk's killing. But then, of course, they're going to go ahead and pivot and say, oh, Charlie Kirk actually justified his own killing with his stance on the Second Amendment, with his support of guns in America. Okay. And they're going to take all of his words out of context. But what these two individuals, these two big brains don't understand is what's the founding of this country based on? Freedom. And how do you get freedom? You have to fight for it and you have to maintain it. And the Second Amendment, the whole purpose of that is so that we can protect ourselves against a tyrannical government. And what we on the conservative side tend to understand that the Democrats don't is that just because you have individuals go out there and abuse their rights and do horrible things doesn't mean you take away the rights from the population. All right. It just isn't done. So, yes, bad things are going to happen and nothing is going to be able to stop that. But you know what's going to be even worse? A government that puts you under their thumb and controls you and takes away all of your freedoms. All right. I'm sure that's something that Don Lemon and Jennifer Welch wouldn't like at all. But what are they going to turn around and say? Oh, Charlie Kirk was dehumanizing people. All right. He was the worst offender of all. Yeah. Let's talk about his dehumanization. All right. Let's talk about the black pilots, because at the time Charlie Kirk was making those comments, he's referencing something that happened back in 2019. We had an actual pilot named Conrad Aska crashed a plane, killing all on board. All right. And this gentleman never should have been allowed near a cockpit, but guess why he was actually hired? All right. Let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into this with this segment from Tucker Carlson.
Before he started flying 767s for Amazon and Atlas Air, he had been a pilot for 7 different airlines, including Mesa Airlines. Several instructors at Mesa reported that Aska was often overwhelmed in the cockpit, as he was on the day he died. One pilot later told the NTSB that in emergencies, Aska, quote, became extremely anxious and would start pushing a lot of buttons without thinking about what he was pushing, just to be doing something. To be clear, for a pilot, that can be deadly, and it was. Atlas Air says it was not aware of any of this when it hired Aska. But once he arrived at Atlas Air, Aska was so deficient in the simulator that all pilots have to train on that the company had to restart simulator training just for him. All of his other classmates had graduated. Predictably, in its final report into the Atlas Air crash, the NTSB cited as a cause of the deadly crash the, quote, systemic deficiencies in the aviation industry's selection and performance measurement practices, which failed to address the first officer's aptitude-related deficiencies and maladaptive stress response. So why was he flying an airplane? Well, in his specific case, we do not have a definitive answer, but it seems pretty obvious. Airlines like Atlas Air, in fact, all the airlines, are doing their best to hire and retrain pilots on the basis of irrelevant criteria like their appearance. And your appearance, to restate, has nothing to do with your ability to fly an airplane or perform heart surgery or do anything. It's immaterial. But on their websites, both Amazon and Atlas Air explained that, quote, diversity is paramount in everything they do. Here's from the Atlas Air website, quote, we leverage diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, as a business strategy and driver of innovation. We are guided by DEI philosophy. Oh, yes, well, apparently you are. And look at the results. Amazon, of course, says the same thing.
So this is what Charlie Kirk was talking about, right? There was a huge period of time there where DEI, of course, was at the top of every company's list. And they were doing everything they possibly could to fill in positions with people that were not necessarily qualified. And of course, Asuka happened to be one of them. However, in his case, his lack of ability resulted in the deaths of other people. So as much as Don Lemon and Jennifer Welch actually want to come out and say, oh, you see how hateful Charlie Kirk was? You see how discriminatory he was? You see how he dehumanized people? He's actually talking about this because what is the effect of DEI as was studied by Harvard? When DEI is being applied, individuals tend to look at minority groups as if they haven't earned their position because in many instances, they haven't. And that tends to worry people. So yeah, when Charlie Kirk hears about this story and he makes reference to it, and then of course he's worried about getting on a plane, that's a natural reaction that some people may have. But of course, Jennifer Welch and Don Lemon, they're over here saying that, oh, they don't know anybody who justified or celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, and yet their own words just expose them because what are they saying? Oh, he actually justified his own killing because of his Second Amendment support, right? He was actually a horrible individual who was dehumanizing other people. So they may not be saying this in so many words, but literally they are doing the very same thing they're saying doesn't exist, which of course is quite disgusting in its own right. So thank you very much for watching and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.